This is your boy Otis Smith with Interruption Podcast. Today I got a treat. We got one of the members of the group Troop, Mr. Jon Jon Harold, with that silky bass baritone voice. Coming up, we're going to talk to him. Um, Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Otis A. Smith, the number 3. You can get all my content there. Also, you can go to Facebook and you can also see my content on Soul TV, Soul TV. I know y'all know how to spell TV. So on Soul TV. Coming up next, Mr. Jon Jon Harold from the group Troop. Welcome to another edition of Interruptions. I'm your host, Otis Smith. Today we got a treat. If you've heard of songs, and you should have heard these songs, I'm talking about my man did a tribute to Luther Vandross, Never Too Much. He did a cut with called Fragile with the artist in Brooklyn. He's got a song out called Girlfriend, and he's also one of the members of the group Troop. But I'm telling y'all, please go on YouTube. I'm gonna show y'all how bad this man can sing. He didn't even know I
Oh
did this.
man.
Go on YouTube, type in Jon Jon Harold, and type in my. His
Oh wow.
rendition live. I'm telling y'all, this dude murdered this joint live.
Oh,
I'm talking no
oh,
other than the fabulous singer Jon Jon Harold from the group Troop. How's it going, sir?
thank you, man. It's going all right. Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there.
Man, that's why I called Courtney. I said, "Hey, man." I said, He said, "He did what?" I said, "I'm finna send it to you." I said, "I'm finna send it to you."
Yeah.
He said, "I
Wow.
heard that." He said, "I heard that Never Too Much." I said, "Yeah." I said, "But this live, this live. So I don't want you to
Yeah.
think. I don't want nobody thinking. When you do the recording, sometimes people think your voice and went through some stuff." I said, "Nah, he's
Yeah.
singing this live." I said, "Man." Then he went to church on him at the near the end. Because I got a gospel background, so I know when you went to church
Okay.
on
Yeah.
somebody. I know, I
Yes,
know.
yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir. Oh, yeah.
I said, one of the things, man, before I ask my first question, one of the things people don't know about you, man, is what I'm bragging on right now. Man, you got some serious vocals. You got some serious vocal chops, man. And a
Thank
lot
you,
of
Otis.
lot
Thank
of
you,
people,
man.
a lot of people ain't they don't know. I know.
Yeah. You have to be to like really find out about certain people within within a group. You have to like really do your research and check out the whole entire album to like really to be able to say, oh, who's who on a certain song or whatever. You just have to be a diehard fan to be able to 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 fill out whoever singing a song, to find out, to even to know who that person is. You got to be a diehard fan for that, man. So
Hey,
thank you for being a diehard fan, man, of
hey, man,
finding out that,
I,
you
I
know,
t- I told you when we spoke on the phone, man. I thought I was you in my head. With every time your part would
hmm,
come on, I thought I was Jon Jon. I'm Jon Jon.
wow,
You saying this, and then I found
yeah.
out I really wasn't sounding like you. It just sounded like that. Look, it just sounded like that while you singing. Look when you cut the song off and then just let me go for myself, like nah. If you give me a part, a bass part where you need somebody to talk on, I'm your man. I'm your man.
Yeah, my man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My first question for you is when Troop started, when you guys got together and that success started happening, you know, being on the Arsenio Hall show, all the
Yeah.
demands for you guys. What was that vibe like? What were you seeing? What was that like for you?
That was the first time that I felt that the group was like really magical,
Hmm.
and like we were like floating on air, because Arsenio had became a huge Troop fan. The funny thing about that is I met Arsenio because I was an extra in in the movie Coming to America, and I was
Okay.
talking to him about the group and about what was getting ready to happen, about you know us getting ready to come out, but we're kind of going through trying to figure out what name, who we're going to be. I said, but right now we do have a situation with Atlantic Records, and we're coming out real soon. And I was telling him about everything, and then finally, he looked up and he was like, yeah, that's the same cat that he wasn't Coming to America. And so I used to come and just hang out over at the Arsenio Hall show before we were doing anything, because I used to go and see like groups like the Boys. I went to go
Hmm.
see New Edition. I went to go see New
Right.
Edition when they were on there, and so I kind of was already, hanging out with some of the crew members and just letting them know that we coming soon with our second album. It's going to be called Attitude. And when I'm Not Soup came out, it was like a song that Arsenio took on himself because a lot of people were saying that he was souped and everything. And so he loved the choreography, and he liked the song, and he just, he was just waiting for his time to be able to go ahead to have the group to come on to be on the show. And at the time, the show was already big. It was
Oh
huge.
yeah, man.
And
Yeah.
he was promoting us like crazy on the show. I mean, I remember uh it was like 72 hours before the our appearance on the Arsenio
Hmm.
Hall show. He
Hmm.
put the whole cover of the Attitude album, and it covered the whole TV screen. So if you had a 75-foot television, you saw the whole entire Troop Attitude album on your TV screen. So to us, that was like, whoa, that was really huge. And it was magical for us. So we felt that we had to like really turn it up times 10 because of how much he was promoting us at that time. So yeah, it was very magical for us, man. Magical. I compare it to, like, I would call it, that's Troops Motown 25 show.
Oh yeah, y'all. I mean, y'all killed it. I mean, it's just. I wish we had a time machine so this generation could understand how big Arsenio Hall was at that
Yeah.
time. Like
The
you
the
did
man
not
the
go to
man yeah,
bed.
man.
Man,
You
you didn't go
didn't.
to bed.
The man had over 20 million viewers watching his show every night. Over 20 million.
He was killing it.
So I remember from doing that show, it was like our prestige of entertainment had turned up, our prestige as being more famous,
Hmm.
that turned up, because he had, like I said, he had so many people watching the show. So man, that's when I used to go places and everybody was like, man, Jon Jon. I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. So Arsenio Hall, his show had a lot to do with that, man. A lot to do with that.
Is what was when I was when you guys started getting that success after I mean before, during, and after the Arsenio Hall show, how did Jon Jon find his voice in the group?
I didn't really find my voice in the group. That was Joyce Irby, from Climax. She actually found me as to bring me up to be a third lead vocalist within the group.
Hmm.
Because she had, her and Steve had, and Dallas Austin had put the song together, I Will Always Love You.
Hmm.
And the music for the bridge, she always thought that the music for the bridge carried a low tone
Hmm.
for a singer from the group to do that part for the bridge. And Steve said, well, my man Jon Jon can get down there. So she was like, okay, cool, cool. So that's how it actually all started. But it was really cool, man, because she made everybody go home and she put me in the booth in the studio. It was real dark. I couldn't see anybody in there. I couldn't see her. I couldn't see nothing. It was really dark. So I guess
Wow.
it was like she was trying to set the mood for something like that.
Okay.
And all I could see was a lyric sheet, the,
Hmm.
the lyric sheet stand. I saw the microphone and the headphones that was on the stand that I put on my head. And she told me to sing these two lines. She started the music. She said, I'm gonna count you in. I want you to sing these two lines right here. And so I just sang the two lines, and she stopped the music from playing.
Hmm.
And I said, is everything okay? And then she turned the lights on where we could see each other. So she's
Hmm.
looking he comes over to the console in front of the console board and look inside, and sees me there, and I'm saying to her, "Hey, is everything okay?"
Mm-hmm.
She goes back to the console board and he hit the talk button. She said, "Yeah, I'm just trying to see if Johnny Gill is making a guest appearance on Troop's record." Case
Yeah.
closed. After that, it was like that's when she got in contact with Gerald Levert and told Gerald, she was like, "Hey, how could you not know that there was somebody else in the group that got a voice like yours, and you worked with them before I did?" So that's pretty much how I was able to go ahead and get out there with Steven Allen and work on the song Attitude and the other song For You, the songs that Levert, that Gerald and Mark had produced on, for the True Attitude album.
That was
That's what happened, man. That's what happened. But that's what
because
happened.
that's why I said that I watched and like when we talked on the phone, I said, yeah, man, you got to go and type in Troop and just put react first reaction and watch these next generations not only discovering Troop but discovering you. They're like, hold up. Hello, who's that right there? Who's this? He got
Yeah.
like you said, he got the Johnny Gill. Hold on, who is it? And it's amazing because I think sometimes when you feel like the group or you didn't get I won't say the notoriety, but just didn't go as far as you would have liked to go, right? There are people discovering you guys and discovering who Jon Jon vocally, but they still don't know yet. They still don't know. If you could quantify what is the Troop sound?
Oh, wow. The Troop sound is just I believe uh man, just make I don't know, man. I guess this is how I guess I could say it. Uh, uh New Edition, when they first came out,
Mm-hmm.
they had the Jackson 5 thing going on, They
Mm-hmm.
sounded like the Jackson 5 when they were
They did.
young,
They did.
and with especially with songs like Candy Girl
Yep.
and Mike Ralph had that little Michael thing going on, like, big time. So it was, man, it was crazy. So I would say New Edition had like the Jackson 5 sound, and then Troop had like the Jackson sound. Like when they grew up and they went to CBS Records and they was signed to Epic and all of that,
Yeah.
that was the type of sound that we basically took on, because I think Michael was about 17 or 18 when he recorded the vocals to All I Do Is Think of You. And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of where Steve had his sound from, around
Right.
that age and up to where it is now. So that's that I would say between that would be Troop's harmony sound. That's just my opinion on it, I
No,
think.
no. I was laughing because I was getting ready to say it. It sounded like the Troop sound was a more mature. I would go further. I would say that you said the Jacksons. I would say Troop picked up where the Victory tour left left off.
Uh
Left out because they
yeah,
all were grown in. They were all
right.
grown except then you were that me and Courtney. This is what me and Courtney was talking about. We said
Mm-hmm.
we said the difference between Jon Jon and Johnny Gill was Jon Jon was with Troop from the beginning, where
True.
Johnny, came in after, they were thinking Ralph was going to leave, and then Ralph came back, and of course they had Johnny to give them that mature sound, right?
Right. Yeah.
And you were already there. That's why the lady you were saying from Climax, that's why she was looking at Gerald like, how did you not know you had
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
bruh, you already got this is already here. You supposed to know this this is
Yeah.
here. And I've always felt like that you were that guy that and I still feel like that now, that as an independent artist, that you're that voice the world needs to hear. That mature, that that real R
Wow.
and B, that something like that. What's his name? Teddy Pendergrass. Even though your voice is different, but I
Mm,
mean
yeah.
that grown man. That
Mm-hmm.
grown man, because I was listening to your song, girlfriend. But dude, that's a
Girlfriend.
vibe. That's a
Thank you.
vibe,
Thank you,
man.
Otis.
I was like,
Thank you, man.
I felt like I need to be riding somewhere. I was sitting there on the patio just vibing. I was like,
Oh
uh,
man.
oh yeah, it's a vibe, man. And what I want to do before I ask, well, of course, what I want to do is my my show, of course, comes out on my YouTube channel, but it also
Yeah.
comes out on Soul TV, on Roku,
Okay.
and
Roku.
on Facebook. And so
Nice.
what I want to do, I know the owner of Soul TV, and so I want to take some of your stuff, and I want them to kind of feature just different clips of your stuff. Not with my interview, because they do that anyway when they edit it, when it gets
Yeah.
edited. But I'm talking about just you, just the stuff live. Yeah,
Wow.
man. Yeah, man. I want to do that
Wow.
for you,
Otis.
man.
Wow.
I want to do that for you, man, because
Thank you, man.
yeah, man.
Thank you.
It's
You-
you what we need, man. You what we need. And
Wow.
you mentioned something, but there's a song on that Attitude album that never gets mentioned. I'm gonna bring it up because my question, I want to know why there wasn't a video for it. And that
Yeah.
was I Will Always Love You.
Yeah. 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 I tried to the group was like, well, John, you don't never say anything. We don't never talk we don't never talk that much really at all. You don't say too much about, business stuff or whatever. Won't you go ahead and talk to Sylvia and see what she says about it? And I went all the way through with everything at that time because everybody at that time
Mhm.
was either doing remixes of their song or they
Mhm.
would do a live version of their song or they would like re-sing it over or something like that. They were doing all of those things to their songs.
Mhm.
And I asked Sylvia about that. We were somewhere out of town. I believe we was on the Hammer tour at the time. And
Okay.
so was able to go ahead and talk to her. And I asked her all of those questions about, what about like, doing a remix to it? What about redoing the vocals over again? What about doing a live version? And she was like, no, honey. She said, I hear what you're saying. But I guess it was pretty much, at the end of the day, you still have to spend money on doing certain stuff with music and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So I,
Mhm.
I guess that's pretty much what it was. They didn't want to spend any more money on the song as they already spent already. So they just wanted to go ahead to release it the way that it was. So that's what they did. And
Mhm.
they released it the way that it was at first. And then all of a sudden, when it came out, I think it hit like 34 on the charts or something like that, I remember.
Mhm.
And then it started to drop and it came down. So
Because we ain't no
that's when
visual.
exactly. And then all of a sudden, they had Dallas Austin to do a remix. So now Dallas does the remix to it.
Mhm.
So it was like, but that's what I asked for in the beginning.
Because like I told you, when I'm watching the kids, this young generation do first reaction to Troop, and when they get to
Yeah.
that song, of course, there's no video, so all they have is just the album cover showing, but they playing, and the first thing they say is, "Who is this? Who who?"
Wow.
They like who is this? Who is because they they're not putting, they weren't of course born in that time, so
Yeah.
they can't put always think of you. They can't put you in that song. They don't put two and two together because they weren't
Yeah.
born, at that time frame. But they always, who is this? They always
And
ask that
yeah.
question.
And like you said, there was no visual on it either. It was, I mean, if you look up, the Troop Attitude, it
Hmm.
had, it was released 5 singles. You
Hmm.
had I'm Not Soup,
Yep.
you had Spread My Wings,
Hmm.
All I Do Is Think of You,
Hmm.
um, That's My Attitude, and I Will Always Love You. So you had a music video on I'm Not Soup, a music video on Spread My Wings, All I Do Is Think of You, That's My Attitude, but no, I Will Always Love You.
But that's one of the songs that y'all do in concert that folk love.
They
That's the
do. They do. A lot of people like it. Yeah.
yeah. I know because when I go on YouTube and I see when y'all performing live, that is one of the main songs that y'all
Yeah.
gotta sing. That's one of the
And, what's crazy is that that song is like in the same keys as songs like "Can You Stand the Rain" and
main.
"Guys, Let's Chill." So, can you imagine if either if either Teddy Riley or Chucky Booker was to produce "I Will Always Love You"? It
Mm-hmm.
would really have that. It would really have that Jam and Lewis feel to it, like big time, because that was really Chucky all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it probably would have had a bigger impact on the song as well too, if Chucky would have done it.
Well, I think one of the things people, and I was talking to Courtney about this. I said, man, these brothers can sing. Like I was because I was trying to hear more and more, like the way you know how rappers write to their song. You know, they'll hear the beat and they write the lyrics to the beat, right? That's
Yeah.
actually how I get when I'm dealing with. That's how I get my questions. I
Mm,
listen to the music, or if it's an actor, looking at the clips of films and stuff, and then the questions come to me. But also
gotcha.
when I'm looking at other interviews, like I didn't realize you had done so many interviews. So I'm sitting here
Yeah.
like, man, how can I have a different conversation with him, man? I ain't got time to have the same conversation. Because my boy Wingo
Yeah.
from Jagged Edge told me, he said, man, one of the ways you guys in the industry get good at interviewing because you keep getting the same questions. If we get over
True.
and over, so you already got an answer prepared for because everybody keep
Well,
asking you the same questions. So I try not to
it,
ask the same
yeah.
questions.
And I get it. I get it. But then there's other questions that journalists don't ask, that they don't know about what that artist does unless everything is out about that artist who they're interviewing. Like, a lot of people didn't know that I played drums. They didn't know I played bongos or percussions. They
Right,
didn't know before all of that I wasn't even trying to be a singer. I wanted to be a basketball player. And other people, I didn't want none of that. I didn't want none of that. I just wanted to go ahead and play basketball, and that was it. But Steve and I became friends, and I didn't even know that Steve can sing. I didn't have a clue.
because y'all was
We
just
he did
dancing.
that's all we were doing. He didn't know that I could sing, and I didn't know that he could sing. And like you said, we was just dancing. That's all we were doing, not really knowing behind closed doors we could both sing. I didn't know. I mean, I didn't hear his voice until he was at, his house, until he was at home. You know what I mean? He
Right,
wasn't singing when we were dancing. He was singing when he was at home. So if you think about that, he was kind of basically hiding his voice too, because he wasn't singing when he was out. We were together at the Boys and Girls Club doing the, Thriller and Beat It. He wasn't singing the songs.
right.
He
You was
wasn't
just
singing.
dancing.
He was just dancing. So when I heard him sing, I was like, wait a minute. You kid, wow, nah, man. Steve, man, you sing? He was like, what do you mean? I said, man, you can sing. I said, I do too. He was like, no way. I said, yeah, man. I said, well, my brother, my two sisters, and my mom, we sing at church every Sunday. And he was
Right.
like, man, you sing with your family? I was like, yeah.
Every
And
Sunday.
so that's how he found out that I could sing. And pretty much, rest is history.
And
I
that's
wasn't trying to, I wasn't even trying to do that, but that's what God will do. God will go ahead and use someone in your life to pretty much pull you out of who that you're supposed to be.
they unlocking it. They
You know,
unlocking that person
yeah.
is unlocking, and
Hmm.
that's what people don't realize. That's why there's no need to have jealousy, or
No,
try
not
to
at
be
all.
first, or try to be first, because sometimes that person that's first is coming back to unlock what's supposed to be unlocked in you, but you don't know it if you're gonna be jealous or figure you got to be first. Like I got to get there before they get there, you know. Uh,
Hmm.
because then what you're trying to get unlocked, you don't understand. It can't be unlocked because you're locking up the person that actually got the key.
Exactly. That actually got the key, and that's why I'm glad that we did it together. We
Hmm.
did this thing together, man, and the bond at first with myself, Steve, Rodney, and Reggie was like really, really cool. It was really cool because we knew each other first before Alan got into the group. And so when Alan got into the group, then
Hmm.
then the change became as far as like what happened within the group and just what happened to us, like our future. But it's okay, we're brothers still. We love each other.
Well, see,
Um, you know,
that's the thing about brothers though. Like
yeah, yeah,
every you can have like, and you have siblings, and
yeah.
and y'all are not the same. Some stuff y'all gonna do
No,
the
we're not.
same because you just grew up in the same household, but there's always gonna be a distinction that your siblings can look
Hmm.
like, man, y'all know that, man, y'all come on, y'all know that's Jon Jon, man, y'all know that he just, he's just being Jon Jon. Like there's, I don't care how old you
Hmm.
get, there's just some about you, a part of you that's just going to be that, that what God created, that
Absolutely.
personality. So I never look at it when I interview people in a group. I never look at the stuff that could be divisive or could separate the group, because I know when
Yeah.
you get older, like I have cousins and we all grew up together, right? Very athletic family, man. There's not one
Right.
person in the family that the uncles and the aunties didn't think that would play pro ball. Okay.
Right.
I was the baseball player. I had two cousins. They were the football player. Then we got one cousin, Marcus, man. He had so much talent. We always say he was the most talented one in the family, that it was a matter of where he wanted to go. He could do music for his pen. He could write. If he wanted
Wow.
to play sports, like how you run into that person that's just they so gifted. It's just like it just depends on what lane they want to take. Like what they and he was that guy. But as we get older, you go your it's not so much life. I mean, it's not so much that the person you can't stand each other. It's that life is pulling in different directions that you need to explore. And what's
Yeah.
happening is sometimes you're trying to hold on to what you already know, and it could be you or it could be another person, whoever within the group, for a better lack of words. I got to play on the song, but you trying to spread your wings.
Yeah.
But you feel like, man, they trying to pull me in. I'm trying to, and then you have a guy like you, and it's kind of like y'all ain't letting him spread his wings. This guy got more he got more inside. Y'all need to let release. And you kind of been that, yeah, the Johnny Gill voice, but you've been kind of like the Ricky Bell, the guy that
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
blow. But if it wasn't for BBD, then we don't know what else Ricky Bell vocally could do.
Exactly.
But he was able to experiment with that with a, BBD. So, um, you had another song. You had another song, man. Talk to me about "I Will Fly Away."
Oh, I want to fly away. Yeah, that's one of Steve's favorite songs right there, right now. Um, I wrote that with a friend of mine that I sing with at my church. Her name is Namaya Potter.
Okay.
Um, I kind of have like some co-production within that as well with the guy Damone Arnold. He did majority of the production on it, but I kind of did help him. I gave him some ideas or whatever and what to put in there, and he did them. It's just I like the song Michael Jackson. Uh, what is it? It's Break of Dawn.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
I wanted something like in that like basically in that
Hmm.
key, and that's what we came up with. And my girl Namaya, I did the hook. I gave her a line,
Hmm.
and then she just went with it and just knocked out everything else.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was feeling that. I told that was another vibe. That was another vibe. I see
yeah.
why Steve like
Thanks,
it.
man.
That was another vibe, man. Um, any thoughts of collaborating uh with some other I was telling Courtney I would love to hear you and Johnny do a cut, man. And
I would
I
love
already
to
know
do
the
that.
song. I already know the song, and it ain't
Yeah,
my. It ain't my.
yeah. What would it be?
Lady du jour.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I know you. I
You're
know you.
my lady joy. Oh,
See,
that's
I
the
told you.
cut, man.
Yeah,
That's the cut.
I hear it, bro. See,
That's the cut. Yeah,
I
that's my
put stuff
dude.
together. Yeah, yeah.
That's my dude, man. That is my dude. Yeah.
I can hear it.
Hats off,
When I heard you
hats
do
off to my
my,
brother.
I heard it. Yeah, man. I would love to see something like that. Also, I would love to see a triple threat with you, Steve, and Allen um on an equal like
Mhm.
everybody has a verse, in other words, what I'm trying to say.
Got you.
Everybody got
Verses,
everybody got
yeah,
a full
there's
verse.
yeah. We talked about it, I talked about it years ago. It's like there's songs and songs have verses, bridges, and it's like verses, bridges, and talking parts. And it's like that's how, and if it's a group,
Hmm.
those parts need to be divided, to those, to the
Right.
group because it's a group. It's not a one man, it's not a two-man thing. It's a group. People see three people see four people see five people. That's what it is. It's
Right.
not just one person or two people that people see. People see everybody. So since they see everybody, then everybody needs to be a part.
Yeah, I would love to see
That would be that would be awesome.
because
That would be awesome too.
I saw something I didn't even know. I didn't even know. I saw it
What
today
was that?
with Alan and Steve doing "You Are the Lady in My Life"
Yeah,
with Michael Jackson, and I closed my eyes, and of course they both Michael influence. Both of them sound like Michael in
yeah,
different
they're both. Yeah,
range,
yeah.
but what's so funny is if
Hmm.
I close my eyes, I don't know which one of them singing. They did like a Run
Yeah,
DMC type thing where they were on the same bar. They were just going back and forth on the same bar.
yeah, yeah,
And I said, oh my God. So trust me, I had this once again, y'all gonna hear a lot of Courtney
yeah,
Benjamin, me saying Courtney. I said, Courtney, man, you gotta get a hold of these guys, man. Jon Jon,
yeah,
these guys, because I said what y'all have, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. Y'all have the same thing New Edition had. Y'all just didn't explore it, which is
yeah,
you've got all of you guys are talented, but what they were able to do, no matter what how the circumstances played out for it, they all were able to break off and then merge back. And that's what I think made them where they can always, you know how I'm sure your mom have told you this. My mom to every pretty much every black mama done said it, right? Make sure you leave home the right way so you can
oh yeah,
be able to come back home. And I just always
hmm,
think for you guys, what y'all wanted to explore individually, like solo, as far as solo project, you guys haven't really had that opportunity to do it the way I would say New Edition did, as far as having that success and then merge right back. So when y'all are
well,
doing a troop,
reunion,
tour reunion touring, you could break
hmm.
off the show and say, "Oh yeah, that's Jon Jon hit. That's so and so hit. That's," and then give us the truth.
Well, what a lot of people also don't know is that
Mm-hmm.
that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't as a group, we didn't go back and talk to our management. It was only two people that went and talked to the management. It wasn't the whole group.
Right. Right.
And if it was the whole group, everything would have been broken down because what had just happened after that was that Atlantic Records had re-signed us to do another 7 albums. So that would have put us that would have put us in the 10th, the 10th album mark,
Right.
which really nobody would have ever even heard of Boys to Men, Jodeci, Jagged Edge, anybody. I mean, we had it basically sold up because New Edition had went solo already. So the only
Yep.
group that people were looking at was Troop. So at that time, we did have the doors closed. And so if we hadn't sat down for 18 months going through litigation with, our management,
Mm-hmm.
switching over, if we would have stayed with our management, we would have had that whole industry still shut down. And it just would have been only like really basically Troop and New Edition, because it's about everything is about timing. So
Yeah.
New Edition is the one that started it, so they would have been able to come back because they're New Edition.
Right. Right.
But while Troop was doing what Troop was doing and nobody was coming to the stage performing the way that Troop was performing,
No, when
then
nobody
after
performing.
yeah, so basically we had the doors closed. Nobody could be able to come in at that time. And if we hadn't, like I said, if we hadn't sat down for those
Mm-hmm.
18 months doing nothing, all we did was some interviews every now and then,
Mm-hmm.
and we wasn't doing no shows or nothing like that. So people didn't see us or hear any new material. So the last thing that they heard from us was New Jack City, and then that was it. It
Yeah.
was
Oh,
just
somebody. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was
it was
singing at the
over.
five.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was over. It was over. It was a wrap. So we wasn't doing anything. So we actually opened the doors for everybody to come through after that. When you're
That's
doing
I
nothing,
didn't think about that. Yeah.
there
And
you go.
especially
Yeah,
in that time, because there's no social media. There's no
exactly. Yes, exactly.
there wasn't a way for you guys to get out what was going on. There was no
We
there was
yeah,
nothing for the fans to say, "Hey, True, where y'all at, man? What's going on?"
exactly.
Yada yada. There was no in that time frame that it wasn't. We hadn't gotten there yet.
So we would have been solo and back already a long time ago. So but that's how it is, like when everybody is not on one accord, and you go and you make your moves together being on the same page.
You
Everybody
got
has to
to,
be on the same page.
got to.
Everybody has to be on the same page, doing the same thing and being okay with it. Not two being okay with it and the three are not okay with it. Everybody has to be on one accord and just make the moves that we make, and be positive, and speak good about our executives. Don't say nothing wrong or bad about them or nothing like that. Because at the end of the day, to be honest, they did actually, they made you who you are, you know. So why bite the hand that feeds you? That's not a good thing to do. When you do that, you kill off your career, you
Well,
know.
I
You
think
kill off
y'all
your
can.
career.
I told Courtney. I said, man, I think they can come back. Well, I mean, it's different when I say on some grown man stuff, because you guys are not those kids anymore. You know what I'm saying? That
We're not.
you can never go back in time part and try to be
No,
20. But
no. But
go ahead.
that's what having the right team. The right team, the
That's what
right
I'm talking about.
team,
That's what I'm talking about.
no, yeah, having the right team with the right connections, the right relationships with people, and us being out of it, us not trying to, handle it in any kind of way. Let the business people do that because that's what they do, that's who they are. And yeah, with having just the right team behind us, I think that anything is possible.
Because
Got to have the right team,
you guys,
and a full team.
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I believe you guys could put something, because right now what drives stuff right now, of course, is social media. You could do it independent, because if you look at it, Jagged Edge is independent, and they
Yep.
always
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
dropping
Yeah.
stuff. And then of course you guys can always tour. You already know that. I ain't got to tell you that,
Yeah.
because y'all tour now. Uh,
Yeah.
and then you, uh, as a solo artist, man, I think it's just so much in you, man, just with vocally, that people just don't know about the range, because you at that time were not given the space to show also what you can do. But you also contribute something else, man, if you could talk about it, because I know you see it on TikTok and all this stuff, people doing the troop, and they don't
Oh
know
yeah.
that you created that dance, man. If you could talk about that,
Oh
bruh.
man. I used to be with this dance group called the Dramatics.
Hmm.
And the Dramatics, we were doing all those street dances, RoboCop, Running Man, Freddy Krueger, all of those type of things. And what I just did, I just went on and just transferred a lot of those moves over to the group, over to the group troop,
Hmm.
and made us a little bit more, a little bit more edgier than New Edition. I mean, New Edition was street, but we were like real street with it. You know what I mean? And we were like pop, with Steve coming in and pop locking moves and stuff like that, and Rodney being the main choreographer.
Hmm.
That's what we wanted to do anyway. We wanted to be a group that was known for dancing more than just stepping. New Edition is a group that's more for
Step.
known for
Yeah.
stepping, and we like to step, but we like to also dance too with it at the same time. And it worked out for us. But yeah, that's where all of those dance moves come from, man. Those street moves, they all came from my group that I was dancing with called the Dramatics.
Well, see,
Yeah.
now here's the thing. See, without Troop, right? You don't get B2K
You don't. And then you
because
and then you
because
and
that's
then
what
and
they
then you
were
got Steve.
doing.
Yeah, yeah. And then you got Steve producing B2K. So it's like I know Steve was in their ear saying, "Look, I'm gonna work with you guys, but you guys gotta be choreographed. Y'all gotta dance. Y'all gotta bring it. Y'all gotta bring." I know Steve was in their ear. I know he was because that's what he does as a performer himself. So
Correct.
anyone who he's worked with and he feels they got like that type of flair, he's definitely going to go ahead and tell them about it, and that's what they should do. So it actually worked out for B2K, and you can't name another group. You just can't. You can't name another group who did choreography moves like that, and falling and kick worming and all that type of. You can't name another group to come like that, and I think that's what happened. We ended up slowing down the groups who came out after us. Like you had your Jodeci's, your Silks, your Drew Hills. Uh, I mean, they did like a one jumping move, and that was pretty
Yeah, they
cool what
weren't
Drew Hill
doing.
had did.
Yeah, they weren't
But as
doing.
far as like as
Nah.
far as like what we were doing, the type of dances that we were doing, and I mean, man, I mean, and it's no disrespect to none of those cats. I got man, this right here. This is important to me right now.
Hmm.
This has all of the music that I love in it.
Okay.
And if you didn't fit in there, then you must not have been important enough for me to put you
Right.
in here. And when I tell you, Jodeci is in here, Boys to Men is in here, Silk is in here, H Town is in here, High Five is in here. Uh, who else? All of those groups, man, they're all
But
here.
see,
They're
you.
all in here.
That's what I'm saying. See, without Troop, you don't get H time.
Yeah,
Here's no
that's true.
no. Here's where I'm going with it.
Hmm.
See, New Edition, because of who Brooke Payne is, as you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
he took what the Temptations, the Stylistics, those groups, like for stepping, and he put it in young people, which was genius because you never seen it in
yeah.
young
Never
people. The
saw it.
Jackson Five, the Jackson Fives wasn't even doing that.
Hmm.
So so then here comes Troop, right? Troop allowed the B2Ks, the all the other groups, the Jagged Edge, to move like with a certain hip hop freedom, whereas New Edition was an influence. I'm talking about as they're growing up loving hip hop, but on
Yeah,
stage, that's not what they were putting out. And it's like you said, it's nothing, not disrespecting New Edition, because like you say, we love New Edition. It's just
man.
what their presentation was versus when you guys came, and I guarantee everybody that was trying to come out when you got I heard Steve on the R&B Money podcast. He talked about the tour you talked about. Y'all went on the road with Hammer.
Yeah,
And he talked about y'all was like, we about to give them a run for their money. Like
it was
y'all,
business, man. Yeah, it
y'all,
was
y'all,
business. We didn't
y'all
play.
stage, yeah, y'all stage presence was like, we ain't taking no prisoners. Like
Yeah,
you can either let us go last or you can try to follow this. You it's
We
it's
man, all we cared about as long as everybody was in their seats when we hit that stage. That's all we cared about. And and it was like that a lot because people started finding out, oh, these boys, they serious. They're not playing around. There were times when I remember we were in I think it was Louisville, Kentucky, and it was somewhere where they had the marquee.
hmm
That man, it was incredible, man. It was like it said in big old letters, it said Troop with MC Hammer. It was it was
Ooh.
it was crazy. It was crazy because in some towns you're hot, and some other times you just
hmm
you're just who you are. But we had it kind of sold up in some of those places like Chicago and in the Midwest of Ohio.
hmm
We had it sold up, and then we that was just one of the places where we had it sold up, and that's how the marquee had said because like Steve said, yeah, we were taking no prisoners, and we just figured out we just figured out that if this is what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take this real serious. Steve had a game plan that was real serious. He was like, man, I want everybody to wear black glasses. We're gonna wear just black shades. We're gonna be like the Jacksons. We're gonna go into these venues wearing dark shades. They can't see our eyes. They ain't gonna be able
hmm
to see our eyes until we hit that stage. When we hit that stage, blaze. It's blaze time. And that's just what it was, man. That's just what it was.
Yeah.
And it helped it
Mhm.
helped troops mystique about who we really were and how serious that we were about to become, especially being a part of that tour.
Man, you guys one of the things and it's just not me, and I know you hear this all the time, but it's so true going back to what you're saying. Bruh, like I told even when you go watch first reactions and people are discovering Troop this next generation, that's the first thing they tell.
Yeah,
When they get
yeah,
to
their
that
minds are
spread
blown.
when they get
Their
to that
minds are
spread my
blown.
wings
Yeah,
video,
that were right
they
when they get to that.
take like, hold
I
on,
I
man.
I saw a reaction from these two girls. They did a reaction to "Spread My Wings," and they were like, "Uh oh, uh oh." They were like, "Uh oh." They're giving New Edition a run for their money,
Yep,
and they
I
brought
saw
up
that one.
New
I
Edition.
saw
I
that
was
one.
like, wow, wow. They brought them up. So yeah,
Accomplished.
yeah,
Y'all
man,
accomplished. That's what I'm saying. Y'all accomplished far as what y'all set out to do, far as your stage presence and the stuff that y'all
yeah,
wanted to make sure people know that y'all was known for was your choreography. And one of the things I like about you guys, because you know how groups are when you put you in a group, everybody wearing the same thing and all that. But what
yeah,
I did like about y'all too, that y'all did that is very hard to do that New Edition has done, Jagged Edge has done. Um, what's you mentioned them a second ago. Jodeci did was being in a group wearing the same thing, but y'all were able to have a fan base that loved each one of y'all where somebody would pick one out and say, "Oh, that's my dude right there," or "That's
yeah.
this person." That's because who was it Reggie had the
The die is
yeah
here.
yeah yeah
Yeah,
yeah yeah
yeah.
yeah. See what I'm saying?
He he
Like
he,
your
he
look.
turned he turned man. Reggie turned out to be like our biggest star in the group, especially even on that tour. I mean, that tour, it consists of MC Hammer, After Seven, Michelet, 357. So the sucker was sold out every night, 20,000 or more people in their seats waiting. So at that time, right before we did the tour, or yeah, it was before we did the tour.
Hmm
All I Do Is Think of You had came, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But it was like after All I Do Was Think of You when it came out, because that's the time when our hairdresser, Sandy, God rest her soul, she did some different things with our hair.
hmm
And with Reggie, she experienced it. She put the troop in the back of his head and put the dye in his hair. He had a long ponytail.
Yeah.
It was over. When that All I Do Is Think of You video came out, Reggie was like lit,
Say Reggie was a superstar.
totally lit. Because every time that it was funny, this is what it really happened in real life too.
Uh,
Uh, it was like every time that Reggie would come up, before he would even say his name to
uh,
introduce himself,
uh,
it was a big roar from the audience. It was just like, it was huge because they knew that he was getting ready to say who he was. And so we got into to the dressing room one night.
uh,
He was like, "It's because you going last, Reggie. It's because you going last. That's why they doing like that." We was like, no, this is
uh,
something different. What's going on with Reggie? It's something different. So they said, this is what we'll do. We'll reverse it.
uh,
Steve, Steve, you go before Reggie, or you
okay.
go third, or something like that. So we
Uh,
switched it around. Steve, Steve got his, he got his little
yeah.
screams and everything. Still, when Reggie came again,
He said in his interview, he said, go ahead, go ahead.
man, I think at that time, yeah, Reggie, I think Steve went last. He still got, he got it, but it wasn't like Reggie's though. Reggie had the roar.
He
He had
said,
the roar.
he said Reggie, and this is how he put it. He said, man, Reggie was a professional. He said, man, Reggie was
Yeah,
professional before we were.
yeah.
And so they were asking Tank them was like, what you talking? He said, man, Reggie, man, you look up, Reggie got this one, Reggie got that. And like he knew how to
Reggie
move
was a
them
star.
in and out. He said, Reggie, how you
Reggie was a
he,
star. He was a star.
and
Like
I wanted to put
Reggie
that
was the
out,
head.
man.
Reggie was the headliner of Troop.
Within the
Like
group, he the
within the group,
headline.
Reggie was the headliner. Reggie was no joke, man. He was
Man,
no joke. And the fans, they ate him up, man. They loved it.
let me
They
tell you
loved it.
something. I'm gonna tell you what made Reggie important for me. Being a
Yeah.
dark skinned brother myself, and in that era when you guys were coming out in the late '80s, right? You know that whole DeBarge and Al B. Sure type thing. So anytime you saw a dark skinned brother, good looking dark skinned brother like myself, you root for that guy because
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
that
you do.
helped you with your your confidence. You like, all
Yeah,
right, just let me get my
absolutely.
swag up. I'm beautiful too. Let me just get my swag up a
Yeah.
little bit. And
Yeah.
that's and here's the thing, that's what people don't realize. What you talked about, the imagery and what the stylist, the hairdresser was doing.
And
Sometimes
yeah,
people don't
she
realize that the effect
she
it's going to
helped.
put on somebody.
Sandy helped like big time because what she did is she started to give everybody their own individual look. And then not only that, nobody could move like Reggie. That
Yeah.
boy was a dancing machine himself.
And Reggie was
He was
tall.
Reggie was tall, limber, and just danced his tail off. It was like he knew that he wasn't going to be, he was supposed to get like, just talking parts on the record, and that didn't happen for him. So since it didn't happen for him, he danced. Let me say it just like this: he danced his ass off. He gave it to the people. He gave it to us, and he gave it to the people. And he was letting us know they about to get it. They about to get it. Reggie did not play on that stage. and
Man,
and that's why I missed him so much, especially in the song "Spread My Wings." That was my click leg partner or my
yeah,
high five partner. When
yeah.
we would finish, we would jump up and give each other a high five. And I can't do that anymore. That was, man, that was what a hell of a performer. One
That
of the best
that's
ones that
I
I've,
was
man,
I
man,
was going to ask you about Reggie because what I wanted to know, and you've already answered the question talking about him, but I wanted to know, what did each member bring to the group? Because
yeah,
so many times fans just think they see the lead singer or whatever, and sometimes they don't, like, when you dealt with Run DMC, you start to find out that it was Jay that gave them their style. It was Jam Master
Right.
Jay that was giving
And
them,
Master J.
yeah, the style. You Ron had the flow, but if you go back and listen lyrically, it was DMC. So like
Yeah.
everybody brings something to the table, but you got to be listening. You got to be paying
You gotta be
attention. So
listening. You
that's why
gotta
I
pay
wanted to know
attention. Yeah.
for you, what did each member bring to the group?
Well, that's what Reggie had brought, to the
Hmm.
to the group. I mean, his energy. He was a fireball.
Hmm.
He was a fireball, and he let you know it every time that he hit the stage. Every time. Rodney is our main choreographer.
Right.
He's the main choreographer. He always has like really good melodies when he's trying to help out Steve on a
Hmm.
song or something like that to do a verse or something like that.
Okay.
His melodies is really cool. Alan, he's like, I would say he's like the first head writer, because Alan was the guy that changed all of Troop's of he changed Troop coming into the group. He changed
Hmm.
us because at the time that before Alan came to the group,
Hmm.
we were New Edition. So
Right.
we was doing all of the New Edition songs and talent shows and stuff like that.
Hmm.
We didn't get into coming into our own selves and doing original songs until Alan joined the group. So Alan brought originality to the group. That's Alan's role, to turn us into who we are still
Got you.
today.
Got you.
Steve is that cat that he's like a renaissance man. This dude can do hair, he can draw, um, he write, he
Yeah.
produce,
Yeah.
he sing, he does it all, man.
And he raised them pigeons.
Them pigeons, he does it all. Which that was something that we didn't see coming until later on. I remember
Right.
being in New York, and we were doing something promotional for our Deeper album, the third album, and
Uh-huh.
he was just out there where those birds were at. And then I remember a time that we was in Hawaii. We were in Hawaii, and how he did it, I don't know how he did it, but he let his door, his balcony door to be open, and he just coached the bird to come into his room. The bird came into his room
Dang.
from the balcony, from being outside. I
Oh
said,
wow.
"Man, you got this bird in your." I said, "I'll be right back." I ran and got my camera.
Uh-huh.
I had to take a picture of him holding the bird. I wish I had that picture this day, because I would make that a T-shirt myself. And it was
Right.
Steve holding a pigeon, and I was just like, I couldn't believe that. He said it takes a lot of patience to do that, but you have to get the bird, to be on your side. It'll come to be on your side. It all depends on how you are with these animals. And he had that bird in his room, man. Man, my mind was blown, man. All the way in Hawaii, he made that happen. I was like, whoa, So, but yeah, he can do it all, man. My thing is, I bring harmony to the group. Um, uh, Before we started doing things, I was helping the group, you know, making sure that everybody was on their note, keeping their parts, and being being sure about the notes that they were singing, that I had them singing, so that everybody can be comfortable with singing the parts, that they did. And so that was my job, because I come from a family that we sang harmony. I come from choirs, church choirs,
Oh yeah.
and so that was my thing that I brought to the table for the group.
And you already know singing in a church for a person who's in a church choir, that's serious business. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
you
no
you
joke.
know if you off on the key, boy,
And let you know
you
right away,
they let you
right
know
away.
it's like a sin. You
Oh yeah, it's
yeah.
a sin, and you went to hell.
I'm about to say, and you go
Yeah, and yeah, they don't
and you
play
got to
that.
get out the choir. And you get
Man, especially my god brother. I gotta tell a story about my god
go ahead,
brother.
go ahead, man.
He's senior pastor right now,
Hmm.
of the church. His name is Pastor Jonathan DeCure. He's
Okay,
no joke, man. He's no joke. He's no joke. His ear is crazy. I
okay,
remember his sister, my god sister Tanya, had had me to sing next to this lady, because every year what we do is we work on an incredible Christmas candlelight service every year for
okay,
Christmas.
Okay.
And it's top notch. It's 10 times 10. It's just top notch. It's a beautiful event every year.
Okay.
And so this one year, Tanya had me to sit next to this lady. She was like, I need you to help this woman that I said, I need for you to sit there and help her. She said, you know how your brother is. You know how he is. So he said, I need for you to sit next to her and catch her up, get her up. And so I was doing it and I was working with her. And the woman, she could not find where I was at. She
Okay.
could not find it. And I told her, I said, Pastor Jon is very serious about this. He don't play. I said, he's going to find you out. I said, when he comes into this room, he's going to find you out. And when he finds you out, he's going to be doing you the way that I'm doing you right now. You got to go up. You got to sing higher than that. Sing higher than that. Because she was always singing an octave note up under me. So she was singing the
Okay.
bass note. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So it was hilarious, man. Pastor Jon, he walked up in there and he turns to the right.
Uh,
He goes right to her and says, mm-hmm. And I was like, I told you. She was like, wow. I said, oh
yeah,
yeah, he
gospel.
don't play.
They don't
He
play in
don't
the
play.
gospel. They don't play in
And he
gospel, boy.
and he went to Berkeley College for music. So he got his master's in music from Berkeley College out there in San Francisco, Oakland. Yeah, he's serious. He's really serious. So he takes it serious. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. So I got a lot of training from him as well too,
Okay.
and and just being able to to stay sharpened and to be able to do what it is that I
You
still do
left
after 30
you
some
left
years,
one
man.
you left one thing out that you give
Yeah,
though.
what's that?
You give Troop its soul.
Oh man,
You give Troop its soul
thank
because
you, man.
without
Thank you.
your and the same thing what Johnny did for New Edition. Without your voice, the soul is not there because it's like because like you mentioned Ralph, you mentioned Steve and Alan because of their vocals, the way their voice sounds and the range that they're singing. It's like you getting Michael of different versions of Michael 24/7. And
Yeah,
with you and Johnny, you're getting that grown man, you're getting that grown man, you're getting that soul. You're getting that what that woman
yeah,
is looking for when she say, "I'm looking for a man." Yeah, as far as like a man that has a deep baritone voice. I'm talking about just when he talks, but you guys sing that way as well. So
yeah.
you bring that soul, to
Wow.
the group. That's why I say if you go and
Thanks,
you look
brother.
at their reaction and they're playing "I Will Always Love You," and because there's no video, when you come and they hear you, people like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that? See, they know distinctively this is different. And then they'll say, hey, somebody in the chat, put in the chat who who this is. And so
Mm.
I think the next phase, one of the things I would love to do with you as well, the next phase is get one of those cats that have reacted to you guys' music
Hmm.
and have them on with you to bring them up to speed. Because sometimes people have questions, but
Yeah, that's true.
they're only reacting to you guys' music, but they don't know because they weren't born. They weren't born.
Mm.
Man, you
Right.
can you
Yeah.
imagine? Can you imagine what kind of kick those fans will get? What kind of kick they would get out of that, man? Because
It would be awesome.
they
Yeah.
always reacting, but think about it. The people they react to, they never get a chance to talk to. They just reacting to the music. So if they react
Right.
and say, "Man, oh man, I got Jon Jon. Hey man, what blah 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 blah." Dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you,
That would be awesome.
it's different, bro. It's different because I ain't
Yeah.
got to tell you because I saw the same two girls you saw. I saw the same two
Okay.
girls. But my final question for you after everything that you've been through, that you're doing with your solo career, what you went through with the group, y'all still brothers, y'all still tour and everything,
Yeah.
everything that happened with the business side. How have you kept your sanity?
Man, after I had lost everything, you know, the relationship that I was in at that time and all of that. After I lost all of that, I went directly back to God, and I've been back with God ever since. So 1994 was when everything had went all the way
Mm-hmm.
down, for me. So I went right back in, man. I went right back and just got it back, with God, and just it's been good for me ever since. So yeah, that's how I was able to stay sane. God helped me through the whole thing, man. But God, that's all I can say.
Hey man, that's listen, it's the reason it's so much power in that. I tell people, I say one of the reason I have a hard time promoting my podcast because I know who's doing the moving. So
Absolutely.
like when we talked on the phone and Courtney gave you my number and all that, because the relationship that I have with Courtney, that's the favor of God. But I am the booking agent. See,
Right.
I
Right.
don't have a booking agent. So any interview you see me do, or like I sent you, I had to book that. I don't have a middleman, middle
Yeah.
woman. I don't have anybody to, to do that. So I try to stay humble because so I know, hey, Lord, I want to make sure I'm giving him the credit, and I don't want to, stick my chest out. And like you
Absolutely.
said, and
Th-
because you've been there, it's so easy to do because you think you doing something.
But there's no way. See, I've always acknowledged him, but there's
Hmm.
no way that we should not acknowledge him, because to be honest, he is the gift giver. He gave us the gift to
Yeah,
do what it is that we do.
yeah,
So it's given, and it's given to us. It's given to us um such a time as this, so that we can be there for God's people and do what He has called us to do. That's what it's about. It's not about, oh, this is me, this is what I do, this is no.
no,
You only have the breath that God gave you.
yeah.
If He takes that breath,
Oh, you stop.
then the gift is gone. Everything, it's a wrap.
Yeah,
So it has to be ushered right back to Him,
yeah,
right back to Him.
yeah.
Like as soon as you get that blessing that God has used someone to bless you in your life, you got to get that right back to God and tell people, no, that ain't you. That's it ain't me.
That's
That's
him.
Him. That's
Amen.
Him. I have nothing to do with this. I'm just a vessel, and I chose to be used by Him. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep my word, man. I'm gonna most definitely, like I say, take your stuff, send it over to my man over at Soul TV because I want him to feature your
Thank
music,
you.
feature you singing live. I want people to know who Jon Jon is, man. And
Oh,
I wanna
oh,
I
thank
wanna
you,
get yeah,
man.
man. I wanna get that. I wanna get that out. I want to bring you back on the show. Like I said, and when I bring people back on the show, man, I
Absolutely.
always make sure I partner them up with somebody else. I just got to get it in my head,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
who it would be. But man, continue much success, much blessings. Stay safe out there, and you are truly, man,
Also,
a
yeah,
treasure.
thank you, man. Also, I want to let people know what's going on
Oh
with
yeah,
Troop
sure,
right
yeah,
about now.
yeah. Go
Yeah,
ahead, man. Plug that.
June. Yeah. Oh yeah, June the 22nd. Troop will be in Minnesota.
Hmm.
With I'm not sure who we're performing with, and I think the 28th will be with Christopher Williams out in Bethesda.
Okay,
Um, and then on the 29th, we're in the 29th of June. We are in Chicago.
okay,
Yeah, we're in Chicago on the 29th of June. So just follow me on Instagram at JonJonHarreld. You can email me at JonJohn of troop at
hmm,
yahoo.com. Look me up on Facebook, Jon Jon's solo project, finally, Team Jon Jon. And hey,
yeah.
check it out.
I'm
You,
following you
you,
on Instagram, and you, of course, you know it's me because my
cool.
face is showing. So
Yeah, yeah,
same thing on Facebook.
mm,
You know it's me because my
cool.
face is showing. So
Mm.
follow. Oh, before I let you go, hey man, what's ATL baby? What's going on? What's
Um,
come on,
well,
man? I need some
when
tickets, man.
ATL, man, and when, if they, I'm, we haven't been to the ATL in a while, and we need to get back there. And if you know any promoters that's out that way, just send them on, send them on.
I got a couple
Send them.
plugs.
Yeah.
I got a couple plugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got
Let's
you.
make
I
it
got you.
happen.
I
Yeah.
got you,
Let's
man.
do it.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
I will most definitely be in touch, man. Much success,
Oh,
man.
thank you,
Stay
man.
safe, and we love you,
Oh
man.
yeah. You too. Love y'all too, man. Thanks a lot, man.
Peace.
Peace.